If you're tuning in with me live, you're welcome to your practice at this very moment, or if you're tuning in later, I hope you have a good practice also. So this afternoon, we're going to be practicing a Hatha Flow class. That will be your intermediate practice. As always, working towards your comfortable limits. We'll come into each posture, every movement step by step. Feel free to play around, but no pressure, no force, just as far as you're comfortable. So begin. To begin even, be in any seated position, crossing the legs perhaps, lifting the spine as best you can, adopting a hand gesture or hand mudra if it's part of your practice and comfortable, perhaps one hand resting on top of the other, or thumb and index finger together is another variation. Sit nice and tall, really lift your spine. Eyes closed, mouth closed. And just allow the breath to find its own natural rhythm, in and out through the nose. As you work towards creating a little space for yourself, space for your practice, know that you're not trying to resist. You're not trying to suppress or push away any thoughts. Instead, we'll just encourage a gentle shift of the awareness, a shift of your attention. As you welcome your awareness to the room around you by tuning into sound. Notice what you can hear. Sound from the distance, room, body. Perhaps you can hear the breath. And with your awareness contained within the body, just notice how the body feels. Any areas of tension, any areas of unnecessary holding. Make a similar inquiry into the condition of the mind. Are you feeling settled? Are you feeling centered? Are you agitated? Just notice. And with this attuned awareness, what the physical body and the mind will draw our attention to the breath. With the simple intention of just witnessing, just experiencing the breath without trying to create, as you allow your awareness to rest around the very tip of the nose. And with your awareness resting here, notice sensation. Sensation for the inhale. Sensation for the exhale. Once you experience the inhale, mentally repeat, breathing in. On the turn of the breath, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Continue with this awareness for a few moments. The mind begins to wander to sounds, sensations, thoughts. Each time bring it back. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Namaskar Mudra. If it's comfortable for you, perhaps lightly press in front of the chest as you take a moment setting intention, a sankalpa, or dedication for your practice. Release your hands, chin towards the chest. A few gentle blinks, opening of the eyes. Namaste. We'll softly raise the knees up. Legs maintained crossed over, knees come high, thighs in towards your chest. If it feels good, you can go for a clasp over wrist or forearm. If necessary, you can be with your shins or your thighs, so choose which is best. Lifting your spine is your main awareness, and if this feels good, you can welcome one foot and then the other foot raises. Find a little balance, focusing on a point in front of you to help maintain. We'll begin to put a little conscious effort into the breath if you haven't already done so. In through the nose and out through the nose. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing, perhaps you apply it throughout the entire length of your practice. All is well here. Without disturbing much, turn your gaze to your right. No pressure on the neck. Breath flows. Smoothly to your left. As you come back to the center, how slow and steady can you move? Gaze to the left. Note the difference between both sides. Back to center. You can be as you are, but if all is well here, perhaps you release the hands. The intention is extending the arms to be in line with the ears, palms lightly pressing, gaze towards the thumbs. If this presents a challenge for you, for instance if this is a challenge in the shoulders, have the arms as low as you need to. All is well, little practice in line with the ears, feels good for the neck, gaze lightly to the thumb. And just a few steady breaths. As you extend the arms, the base of pelvic below the navel becomes a little more active. Breathe. Next exhale, release the hands. Release the feet. And gently come to standing, in whichever way is necessary for you. Come all the way up. We'll work towards the front of the mat. We'll come up about a foot's distance or so from the front of the mat. Feet together, toes and heels to touch, so finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Encourage your hands to the sides of the body. Let's take a moment to shift the weight around, all four directions. The intention is sharing it evenly. As you feel firm through your feet, recognize where your hips are. Do you habitually hold your hips out in front? Can you welcome them back? Hip, knee and ankle work in a straight line. Gaze is front, chin is a little back. Lengthen the breath. We'll prepare for a few rounds of sun salutations. We'll go through the first few rounds rather steady. No pressure or force. Recognize the variations that are on offer in between each step. Coordinate the breath as best you can, but no fight. Breathe as much as you need to. Namaskarasana. So palms to press the front of the chest. Inhale, exhale. Next inhale, smoothly begin to extend the arms. In line with the ears as best you can. If this is a challenge, have the hands a little lower or in front as you need to. Lengthen the breath. Putting a very slight bend in the knees. This is good, top the pelvic under, push it slightly front. And there's a very mild back bend. If very comfortable, just lightly gazing up, recognize you're not dropping the head all the way back, just a slight degree up. Be there and breathe. If you have any challenge in the back of the body, please work a little easier. Your next exhale, palms to face front. A bend in the knee, push the hip back a little. We're going to work front towards parallel. Torso parallel to the mat and arms in line with the ear. Okay, slightly front but no pressure on the neck. Drop the chin as you need to. If you feel like this presents a challenge on the shoulder or the neck, have the hands on the hip. Feels good, you're mindfully applying your practice, extend the arms out in front. Breathe. Next exhale, continue to fold front. The intention is bringing the hands in line with the feet, so either side, whether you're on the fingertips or the palms, or release the head, folding deeply. Your next inhale, step the right leg back. A good distance. Ground the right knee on top of the toes, gaze is front. Pressurize the top of the right foot, push the hip a little. The left knee is almost directly over the ankle. If your knee is in front, perhaps you can scooch the right leg a little further front or further back even. And be there. Left armpit hooking over the thigh. Fingertips if necessary, palms if comfortable. Your next exhale, tuck the right toes, lift the knee. Left foot back to meet the right, the feet are together, shoulders are over the wrists, the shoulders slightly drawn down the back, gaze a little front. If this is uncomfortable or challenging to maintain, ground the knees. Little practice, you're up. Steady breath. Next exhale, continue to exhale or hold the breath out as you ground the knees. Then squeeze the elbows close. Take the time as you roll down. So you welcome your thighs, your belly, almost the chest and the forehead to the mat. The shoulders are rolling open. If this is comfortable here, the hips slightly tuck up and back. But the forehead remains grounded. The chin is almost working towards the throat. Toes are still tucked. And you're pressurizing toes into the mat. So Ashtangasana. Be there for a moment. Next inhale, lift the head, the gaze is front. Shift front just a slight degree front. First rather than raise the chest, roll the shoulder on top of the toes. Bhujangasana. Maintaining it here. If there's any strain on the neck, drop the chin as you need to. Feet remain grounded and feet together. Your next exhale, tuck the toes. Keeping the hands where they are, bend at the knees. Push the hip up and back. Feet maintained together, Buddhasana. The distance between the hands and the feet is maintained. Gaze is straight down. If there's a challenge here in the lower back, challenge in the shoulder, perhaps you bend the knee. Feels good, mindfully applied. Just working towards straighter legs but never entirely locking the legs out. Next inhale, bend the knees slightly, step the right foot front. This could be one smooth step. If this is a challenge, helping hand, if necessary, ground the left knee, then bring the right foot all the way front. Knee is over the ankle, ground the left knee on top of the toes. Pressure is in the top of the left foot now, slight push of the hip, gaze is front. Your next exhale, tuck the left toes, taking the time, left foot back to meet the right, feet together, recognize the hands are still in the original position when they came to ground, fingertips or palms, release the head. Put a good bend in the knees. If you're sinking back to seek rather a deep chair, stretch the arm in line with the air, palms to face, raising torso almost parallel to the mat. The intention is straight line almost from the hip to the fingertips. If this is a challenge, just like the forward fold previous moment ago, hands on the hip. All is well, in line with the air. A steady breath. Next inhale. Feel them more. Keep the length in the spine. Come all the way up, palms are touched. A light bend to maintain in the knees, top to pelvic. Slight back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaskarasana. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, Urdhva. Extend the arms, slight bend in the knee. Gentle back bend. Exhale, working front, hands either side of the feet, release the head. Inhale the left leg back, good distance, ground the knee on top the toes, gaze front. Exhale, top the toes, lift the knee, right to meet left, Nue Pada. Hold the breath up, knees, elbows close, thighs, belly, forehead, roll the shoulder, hips slightly tucked. On the inhale, gaze front, raise to Bhujangasana, roll the shoulders on top of the toes. Exhale, top to toes. Bend the knee, keep the distance between the hands and the feet, push the hip up and back. Bend the knees a little as you inhale, step the left foot front, any variation, take the time to get there. Ground the right knee on top of the toes. Exhale, top the toes. Right to meet left, feet together, folding deeply. Good bend in the knee. Arm in line with the ear, inhale, feel the work coming up. Palms suppressed, keep the knees a little soft as you tuck the pelvis slightly. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaskarasana. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, extend. Gentle back bend. Exhale, working front from the hip, hands either side of the feet. Inhale the right leg back, good distance, ground the knee on top of the toes. Exhale the way pada. Left knee right. Hold the breath up, Sashtangasana. Hips slightly tucked. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Bhudrasana. Inhale, right leg. No rushing getting there. Ground the left knee on top of the toes. Exhale, folding deeply. Inhale, good bend in the knee. Feel the work all the way up. Gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaskarasana. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, extend it. Exhale, work from the hip. Inhale, left. Exhale, the way pada. Hold the breath up, elbows close. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Bhudrasana. Inhale, left, no rushing getting there. Ground the right knee on top toes. Exhale, folding deeply. Inhale, feel and work all the way up. Palms to touch, tuck the pelvis slightly, gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Tadangustasana. Feet wider, almost as wide as your shoulders. Good distance, toes pointing straight ahead. Hands on the hips, knees a little soft. Take an inhale. As you exhale, begin to fold front. Work from the hip. Keep the gaze slightly front. Choosing a depth that's appropriate for you. If parallel is achievable, perhaps you release the hands, grab the big toes, middle finger, index and thumb. As you inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. As you exhale, fold in deeply. Then release the head. A long and steady breath. The intention is each exhale, a little deeper. Next inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. As you exhale one at a time, take the tips of the fingers or the palms entirely underneath the feet. Fingers pointing back towards the heels. Fall a little deeper. Working with the intention to bring the toes towards the crease line of the wrist, but don't fight. Recognize the reaction of the wrist, reaction of the shoulder. You're not using your shoulders to fold front. Disengagement below the navel. This is where the fold comes. Next inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. As you exhale one at a time, bring the hands back to the hip, knees a little soft. As you inhale, gaze to touch front. Feel and work, take the time, no rush as you come up. Smoothly coming up. Exhale, Tadasana. Feet together, toes and heels to touch, hands to the side of the body, gaze is front, chin is a little back. Your next inhale, take the arms out to the side. Raise the arms in line with the ears. Palms to press. If this is a challenge for your shoulders, hands is front as you need to, or even down by the side of the body. But be aware as you raise the arms, recognize the ribs. The ribs come along also. Keep the sternum a little back. Arm in line with the ear. Shoulder works down the back a little. Your next exhale, fold to your right. Feel and work to your right. As you fold, maintain the sternum back. Recognize you push the hips and the knees front also. So sternum, hip, and knee maintain back. Be there for a moment. Next inhale, coming back. As you come back to the center, check into the ribs. Sternum maintain back. And as you exhale, fold to your left. And be there for a moment. Also recognize the reaction and the difference between both sides. Lengthen the breath. Next inhale, come all the way back. As best you can, we'll endeavour to maintain the arms lengthening in line with the ear. If this presents a challenge for you, release the hands over the sides of the body any moment or hands to the hip. All is well. You're mindfully challenging in your practice. Maintain the length. Choose a point in front of your focus. As you bend the right knee, lift the heel. Just feel a weight switch over to your left foot. So already you're balancing. You can be here. A little practice, raise the right foot a little. Still good, raise the right thigh high. Recognize as you raise the thigh, do you lean back to the torso? Do you round to the spine? Much more important to have the spine lifting and lengthening so the leg can be as low as you need to. Little practice, you're working towards parallel. Next exhale, release the right. Right to meet the left. Feet together. Shifting the weight into the right foot now. Bend the left knee, lift the heel. Feel the weight shared in all four directions on the right foot. Little practice, raise the left foot a little. Still good, raise the thigh as high as you comfortably can. Recognize the reaction to the sternum, move trust in the ribs, ribs back. Recognize if you're leaning back entirely. Maintain shoulder over hip. Focus on your point. Breathe. Next exhale, smoothly release the left to meet the right. And gently release the hands. But how slow and steady can you release the hands? Recognize the reaction as the blood returns down through the elbow, forearm, wrist, moving through palms, into fingers, back to Tadasana, gaze front. And we'll turn to the long edge of the mat. Let's step the feet that good distance apart, that Hatha distance, so 3.5 to 4 foot, quite a generous distance. Checking the reaction or the alignment even of your heels. So the back of the heels in line, or if it's best you can work from the toes, they work in a straight line across here. And feet parallel, sternum a little back. If all is well through the shoulders, extend the arms shoulder height. Hunch your shoulders up to where you don't want them to be. Then release your shoulders down. Then maintain it here for a moment. If it becomes too demanding on the shoulders, if you have any challenge in the neck, hands to the hips at any moment. If it feels good, you're here. Super. All is well. Maintain the heels where they are. We'll maintain this heel to heel alignment. But we'll turn the left toes in slightly. With the right toes. Raise the right toes, pivot on the right heel, turn the right toes all the way out towards the front edge of the mat. Draw your left hip back now. Sternum is back. So the back of the hips are against the imaginary wall, backs of the shoulders are against the imaginary wall. With the sternum coming back. Confident for the neck, gaze to your right. Any challenge in the neck, maintain your gaze front. And as you be here, maintain left hip drawing back, recognizing how you're sharing the weight between the feet evenly as best you can. Very confident. Flip your palms to face front. The intention is Trikonasana, so your triangle pose. It's a side fold. We maintain this initial alignment we created. The hips squaring and the shoulders squaring. All is well. On your next exhale, fold to your right from the waist. You're folding from the waist. You're maintaining the arms in line. You're maintaining the hip open. Fold to the point that you can maintain the hip open and not even weight in the feet. If you feel like there's a lot of work on the left knee or the right knee even, come back up a little. Share the weight more with the left. If very steady, softly turn your gaze up towards the left thumb. Be there for a moment. If you're looking up, turn the gaze side or down. As you inhale, come all the way back. Palms to face down. We'll maintain the gaze towards the right hand. Put a good bend in the right knee. Now the intention is bending the knee to the point where it's over the ankle. If your knee goes beyond, perhaps you need to increase the distance between your feet. You have two variations. You can release the right hand, inside into the right foot, fingertips or the palm. Then extend the left arm up towards the ceiling, open up the chest and gaze to the hand. If this is relatively accessible for you, perhaps you take the right hand into the outside edge of the right foot, fingertip or the palm, and extend the left arm even in line with the ear, palm faces down. And be here and breathe. A long and steady breath. No matter which variation you're working with, there's no pressure, discomfort on the right knee. Weight is still working towards almost being evenly shared between both feet. On your next inhale, we're going to raise halfway back up. And we're going to softly, as best you can, hook the left arm, upper arm, if it's within your comfortable limits and your ability, perhaps even the left armpit, over the right thigh, and you get a little twisted to your right. Very comfortable gaze also follows. Any pressure on the neck, keep the gaze side or down. There's no force, there's no pressure on the right knee. Breathe. Next inhale, come back through the center. Extend the arms shoulder height, draw the left hip back. Straighten the right leg. Feet back to parallel, heels in line. Spine is lifted. Turn your right toes in a little now. Pivot on your left heel, left toes are out. Draw the right hip back. So square the back of the hips against the imaginary wall, back of the shoulders. Sternum comes back. Gaze is to your left. Any challenges in the neck, have the gaze front. Thinking base of the pelvic, lightly drawn up. Below the navel, lightly engaged. Very comfortable. Flipping your palms to face front. Remembering the intention is keeping the hips in this alignment that you have now. Your sternum back and the shoulders in the same alignment also. Your next exhale, fold to your left. You're folding from the waist. Don't fight for depth. Explore that point that you can maintain the right hip drawing back, the shoulder open, and also the sternum a little back. Once you've reached a comfortable point, that point where you can almost maintain even weight in the feet, ladle by ladle, turn the gaze towards the right hand perhaps. Lengthen the breath. As it gets more challenging, the breath goes longer, the breath goes softer. Turning gaze side or down. As you inhale, maintain the alignment as you come raise all the way up. Keep the gaze to the left as you flip the left palm face down. Bending the left knee now. Recognize each side can be very different. First option is left fingertips, inside edge of the left foot, or perhaps the palm. If this is your chosen option, you can extend the right arm towards the ceiling, gaze the hand. If this feels good, however, then it's accessible left hand outside edge of left foot. So bring it around the foot, the front of the foot even. Fingertips or the palm. This is good. Extend the right arm in line with the ear. You're opening up the chest. You're comfortable for the neck, and you're here. Gaze is underneath the right armpit almost. A long, steady breath. Any challenge in the neck, gaze side or gaze down. Super. Turn the gaze down if you haven't already done so. As you inhale, come halfway back. Then you're thinking hooking the right upper arm. If it's comfortable, working towards the armpit perhaps. Hooking it over the left thigh. Palms to press. Feels good, gaze lightly to your left. But don't fight for depth. Super. Inhale, coming all the way back through the center. Extending the arms to Hatha Hasta, shoulder height. And release the hands once you've turned the feet in, so the hands come onto the hips. Knees a little soft, take an inhale. As you exhale, work front towards parallel. You can be anywhere before it. Knees as soft as you need to, so as bent as you need to. All is well here. Keep the gaze a little front. You can keep the hands in the hips, or they can release the ground. But if it feels good, take the hands behind, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulder. Gaze front. As you exhale, work from the hip. Fold deeply front. Bringing the hands up and over as much as you're comfortable without creating pressure on the shoulder, without creating pressure on the neck. Folding deeply. Next inhale, raise the torso back parallel. Release the hands to the hips. And then release the hands to the ground. Turn the left toes in slightly. Pivot on the right heel, turn the right toes out a lot. Walk your hands towards the front of your mat. You can pivot simultaneously on the left foot so they point towards the front edge of your mat. One smooth step or a few steps, step the right back to meet the left. Coming into the downward facing dog. Good distance is maintained between the hands and the feet. The torso working a little bit back towards the thighs, the gaze down. The intention is sharing almost even weight between the hands and the feet. If this becomes too demanding or too challenging for you at any moment, please do ground the knees, and to lessen the intensity you could also even bend the knees. Breathe really well. bend in the knees. The gaze is front. Now you can walk front, but if it feels good, a slight hop front. Setting up from Malasana, so the squat pose. You can come in into any variation. If necessary, if it's challenging, bring your heels to the ground, bring your feet closer perhaps, almost hip distance, allow the heels to raise. You can play around with a wider stance and turn your toes out a little further, but recognize the reaction to inner knee. Don't force. Hooking the palms down the shin, or hooking the upper arm down the shin almost, and lift the chest. Gaze is front, chin sets a little back, and long steady breath. But don't fight to be here. Recognize the variations, allow the heels to raise if necessary. Now you can be here, just enjoy. But if all is well, raising the hip up. If your feet were closer, perhaps you'll need to take the feet a little bit wider, or a lot wider even. You're working towards shoulder distance apart, but a good distance. Then raise your hip up to the point where you can then lean back and bring your knee to be directly over your ankle. So this is your first alignment point. Now if this is good here, you can maintain that. You begin to drop the hip down. So the second intention is dropping the hip down to where it's almost in line with the knee. So knee in line with the ankle is your first intention, then dropping your hip down to the point that you can maintain this alignment. Once you've arrived at your comfortable edge, the palms come lightly to press, then hook the arm down the shin and try and draw the chest down the thigh. Working towards hip in line with the knee, and be there for a few breaths, really well. But no fight. Think base of pelvic, lower belly act. Softly release the hands and gently release down to Malasana if comfortable. If necessary, you come up a little higher and you can be swaying the hips. If all is well in your Malasana, you can allow the arms to go a little wider, the upper arm compress into the knee, pushing the knee out a little. Gaze is front, chin is set a little back. Raising the hip up, grounding the hands at shoulder distance, then walk your feet back. Good distance between the hands and the feet. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, torso back towards the thigh, gaze is down, neck is free. You can take rest at any moment by grounding your knees. If it feels good, you're mindfully challenging and mindfully applying in your practice, you're up. All is well, bring the feet together, and then grounding your knees towards the centre of the mat. We'll stay rather high in the hands and the knees. Walk the hands back towards you, then roll up. Standing tall on the knees. Scooch towards the left side of your mat a little. Then this is good, one smooth step or a few steps, shoot the right leg out to the side. If you have any sensitivity in your left knee, you can double over or triple over the mat as you need to. Looking at your left knee, draw a line straight out. Then the right heel lands on this line. So it's not the arch of the foot or the toes, they're beyond the line. The heel lands on the line and the foot is at a slight angle, almost points towards the corner of the mat. The right corner even. Square the hip, and a slight tuck of the pelvis. This is good, extend the arm in line with you. Palms to press, sternum is back. As you exhale, fold to your right. But keep the gaze front. If you look down, you tend to twist and that left hip will tend to come around. Maintain the gaze front, the hip is back, the sternum is back, and recognize the reaction, left side of the body, from the hip all the way up the side. Exhale, release the hands. One smooth step or a few steps. Right back to meet the left. Scooch a little bit more towards the right side of your mat. Taking care to step the left leg out now. You're thinking right knee, left heel. Working a straight line, left foot's at that slight angle. Your hips are square in front, so straight in across. Slight tuck of the pelvis. If comfortable, extend the arms. Sternum back. As you exhale, fold to your left. And be there. Notice the difference between one side and the other. Perhaps you can come in a little deeper on one side in comparison, or the experiences felt a little more. Inhale back. Exhale, release the hands. One smooth step or a few steps. Left back to meet the right. We'll stay high in the knees. We'll turn towards the front of the mat. Take your knees to be a good distance apart, almost shoulder distance. Toes in line with the knee. Any pressure on the knee here now, you can double over to the mat in the front. Take the hands behind. You're taking the heel of the palm, comes to the back of the hip, the upper buttock muscles, fingers pointing down. Elbows work towards each other. So you can be here. This is tremendous work in itself. All is well, however, a slight tuck of the pelvis. You want to keep the hip pushing front. Initially drop the chin towards the chest. Now you can be here, but very comfortably begin to feel an arch. Keeping the elbows coming towards each other. Beautiful expansion of the chest. If it's within your practice, it's within your comfortable limits, releasing one hand back at a time. But recognize that the hips don't come back to the heel. Keep the hip pushing front. Maintain this expansion of the chest. Very comfortable. You can release the head back. But no pressure, no force. Long, steady breath. This is good. If you've released the head, comes halfway back first. And as you inhale, left hand across the front of the body to the right hip. Right hand across the front of the body to the left hip, taking care as you come up. Unraveling and releasing the hands. We'll endeavour to maintain this distance between the knees and the feet, and sitting back in Virasana, the hero's pose. But note that there's many variations to being here. If this particular variation is challenging for you, play around bringing the knees together and the feet together, and sitting with a lifted spine there. Or alternatively, cross-legged position is beautiful work too. No matter where you choose to be, recognize where your spine is. You collapse it, and you maintain a lifted spine. If comfortable, right hand right side and behind, left hand hooks over the right thigh. If that feels very good, you can hook the right hand behind and search for the top of the left thigh. As you inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, get a little twisted to your right. Very comfortable, the gaze is also following. Inhale back to center. Exhale to your left. Left hand left side and behind. If comfortable, you're searching for the top of the right thigh or even the hip. Right hand's over the thigh. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, smoothly coming back. Now, taking care. Take the hands to be in front of the knees. Slowly, steadily raise the hips up. There's no rush. Take the toes under. Without straightening the legs, walk the feet towards the back of the mat. But maintain the bend in the knee. Come into a downward facing dog, the Adho Mukha Svanasana, with bent knees. And be there for a moment. Just explore creating length in the spine. Grounding the palms, spreading the fingers. After being here for a few moments, begin to very slowly walk out the dog. So the toes remain where they are, but you bend one knee at a time. Recognize as you bend the knees that your shoulders aren't shifting over your wrists. Then you're maintaining this length in the spine, torso working towards the thighs almost. Little by little. This feels good. You come to rest and walking out the dog. Bring your feet together. Feet together to center of the mat. Still good. Raise the right foot a little up off the mat. Can you share even weight between the hands here? Or are you leaning to your left? Very comfortable. If the wall isn't too close behind you, raise the right leg up. Extend the leg straight if the wall isn't too close. In my case, a bent knee. And be there for a moment. As you raise the right leg up, you're trying to have the hip maintained squaring. Releasing the left heel in the direction of the mat. Maintain a good distance between the hands and the feet. Next exhale, welcome the right foot back to the mat. Then changing sides, raise the left foot a little. Can you share even weight? If this is comfortable, perhaps you raise the left leg as high as you can. While maintaining even weight in the hands, recognizing your shoulders creeping over the wrist. Maintain that length, the wrist to the hip. Below the navel is engaged. Be active in your practice. Next exhale, release the left to meet the right, then the feet return to that good distance apart. Bend the knees, whichever way is necessary for you. You can hop front if comfortable, or you can walk front, perhaps bring one leg front at a time, crossing the legs over. Then sitting back, unraveling the legs, raise the shins up towards parallel to the mat, palms to face, arms work a little straighter. If this is challenging, hands come a little bit behind you, use hand support. You can build your practice with the alternate leg. Very comfortable, you're here. Still good, you're here. And you're already halfway there. Just 30 seconds of your first round on the Navasana. Next exhale, cross the legs over, clasp the hands, very comfortably. You can balance on the bottom muscles, just like the start of your practice in Talasana variation. Round 2, choose your variation, focus on your toes, legs straight or knees bent, if necessary hand support. If you have any challenge in the back of the body, you're working a little easier, recognize the earlier variations. Talasana. Cross the legs over, clasp the hands. If comfortable, you're balancing, but feet can be grounded. Your third round, choose the variations best for you. Focus entirely on your toes. Lengthen the breath, below the navel is engaged. Next exhale, cross the legs over, draw the thighs in towards the chest, feet grounded, one or both, or you're balancing. And then ground the feet. Extend your legs down front. Dandasana, so the stack pose, feet together, toes draw back towards you, spine is lifted. Hands come next to the hips. Fingers point straight ahead. Shoulders a little rolled, spine is lifted. Chin set a little back. A long, steady ride. You're very comfortable here. Allow the right foot to drop out to the side and bend the right knee. The right foot can rest against the left thigh. If it's comfortable, you bring the right heel all the way into the ground. Your left hip, knee and ankle are working in a straight line. The spine lifts. As you inhale, raise your arms. Extend your arms in line with the ears. As you exhale, fold front over the left leg. Now you can fold front to any degree, whichever degree is achievable and comfortable for you. Leave your hands rest wherever they come to at ease. That may be your thigh, maybe your shin, maybe your ankle, and maybe on the foot. Little by little. Folding, each inhale little length, each exhale little depth. But no fight for depth. Lengthen the breath. Next inhale, take the time. Come all the way up. Really lengthen. As you exhale, release the hands. Now your right foot can remain as it is. If it's comfortable and accessible, your right heel can come to the right groin, so the right toes are pressurizing against the left thigh. If this variation is accessible, perhaps for a brief moment you lean slightly to your left. You fold the right leg behind, the toes are pointing straight back, so not out to the side. Then open up the knee to 90 degrees. There's almost a 90 degree created between the inner thighs as best you can, but the left leg stays engaged. No matter where you choose to be, whatever variation you're at with the right leg, take your hands to the right side and behind the leg. You're lifting your spine a slight twist. So you can be here. This is beautiful work. But if all is well, we'll endeavour to maintain this twist even, as we go further in the posture, further in the practice. The left hand, palm facing up, can be close to the left thigh or towards the calf muscle. This is good. Your right hand can come out to your right hip, gaze is to your right. Still good. Extend the right arm in line with the ear, palm is down. Then still good. As you exhale, fold to the left from your waist. But as you fold, you're endeavouring to maintain that twist. Recognize that you're not square in front. Little practice, left hand comes to the left foot. But if you're there, trying to ground the left elbow first. And a little further practice, right hand comes up and over. Maintain the twist. Gaze is underneath the right armpit. But you can be anywhere in between. Choosing where is best for you. Inhale, coming back. Taking care, coming all the way back. But if your right leg is behind, we'll release from behind. We're going to bring it back around front. We're going to ground the right foot with the heel close to the buttock muscle as best you can. And the right foot is about a fist distance away from the left thigh. Little space. The left leg is still engaged. Toes draw back towards you. Wrapping your left arm around your right thigh. Your right hand can be to your right hand side and behind. If comfortable, it sweeps around. It can start from the top of the left thigh or the hip. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, get twisted. Next inhale, coming back. Release the right leg. Changing sides. Bend the left knee. Left foot against the right thigh. If comfortable, the heel comes high to where it pushes against the groin. You're thinking right hip, knee and ankle working in a straight line. Square the hip, lift the spine. As you inhale, extend it tall, really lengthen it. As you exhale, folding deeply. Leave the hands come to wherever they come to with ease, so you can release the shoulders. This may be your right thigh, maybe your shin, it may be your ankle, it may be the foot. Not forcing for depth. Work with the idea. Each inhale is a little slight length with the incoming breath. Each exhale, fold deeply, actively engage below the navel. Beautiful. Inhale, raise it tall. Exhale, release the hands. Left foot can be as it is. If it's comfortable, left heel can come towards the left groin now. If this variation is accessible or is playing around a little further, lean slightly to your right for a brief moment. Point the left toe straight back, falling deeply at the knee. Then open up the knee to almost towards a 90 degree. But there's no fight in the knee. And each side can be different, so don't force for depth. The right leg still remains active. No matter what orientation you're in with the left leg, just get a little twisted to your left if comfortable. This feels good. We'll endeavour to maintain this twist. Release the right hand, inside out to the left thigh, palm faces up. You're feeling steady, left hand, left hip. Furthermore, left arm in line with the ear. This is good. As you exhale, all to the right from the waist. Right hand reaches for the foot. If you're there, can you ground the elbow first? Left hand also endeavours to come over, looking underneath the left armpit if you're there. Maintain chest opening. Coming back if necessary. Feel and breathe. Where do you feel it? Beautiful reaction on the left side of the body. Starting from the hip, working its way up the side. The reaction in the back of the right leg. No challenge in the neck. Gaze side or gaze down, if there's any challenge. Inhale, coming back. Coming all the way up into a little twist. Then returning through the center. Softly bringing the left leg back around. Bring the left foot to be a fist distance away from the right thigh now. The right leg is still engaged. Wrap the right arm around the left thigh, hugging the thigh close to the chest. Left hand, left side and behind. Feels good. Sweep it around. Search for the top of the right thigh. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist deeply. Inhale, coming back to center. Maintain the left foot where it is. This is good. Bend the right knee. The intention is bring the feet together, toes and heels to touch. So you can be as you are, and you can start to draw your chest through. But if comfortable, perhaps you take your hands behind you. One hand and one hand stretch, the other hand stretches front. Pushing off the back hand, then raising up. Leaving the knees go a little wider if required. The intention is keeping the big toe together and the heel together. And if the structure or the ankles will allow it, bringing the heels to the ground. And you can play around with this by stretching the arms front and little by little, as you use the upper body as a counterbalance. Play around bringing heels to ground. Any challenge in the neck, dropping the chin. Just notice response. Response through the ankle, response through the knee, response through the hip and lower back. No force in your shoulders or neck to be here. This feels good. Lift the head slightly if you've dropped it to any degree, so keep your gaze to the front. Slide the hands back towards you. And the intention is hooking the upper arm down the shin as low as you can. Upper arm down the shin, palms to breast. Being here. Mindful of the balance. If you rock back, that's all good too. Just mindful if there's any solid objects behind you. Now if this feels good, you can maintain as you are. This is beautiful work. But if all is well, you keep the upper arm hooked down the shin. You release the lower arms. For instance, the back of my right hand will come to the back of the right ankle. If this feels good, it continues to sweep underneath and it comes to the back of the right hip. Similar, if not exactly the same on the left side, and it works towards the back of the left hip. The fingertips little by working towards each other. If this feels steady here, all is well through the balance. Little by little, release the head. Release the head towards the thumbs. Breathe. Below the navel, base pelvic still active. Breath is steady. Super. Turn the gaze a little front. Releasing one hand front. And releasing the other hand front. As you stretch your hands front, shoulder distance apart, raise the hip up. Slowly walk your feet towards the back of the mat. Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog. Good distance between the hands and the feet, torso back towards the thighs. Steady breath. Next exhale, Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing warrior. Knees as wide as your mat, big toes to touch. Sitting back in the heel if you can. Extending the arms out in front without raising the hip, then forehead to mat. Push away the mat lightly, breath is still steady. And softly lift the head, gaze is front, coming front and rolling on your back. And release and rest. Shavasana, the end of your practice. Making all of the necessary adjustments for you as you come to the end of your practice. How would your body like to rest? Any blankets or coverings are welcomed. If it's uncomfortable for you to be on your back, with the legs straight, you can bend the knees. And know that you could be even on your side, you could be on your front. Take a moment to adjust. And when you've made all of the necessary adjustments, you can feel, you get a sense. Body's beginning to arrive. Within this arrival, welcome stillness. Allow stillness to move and rise from the earth beneath you. Allow it to move through the skin, to where it's welcomed by the muscles, the bones, the joints. Allow stillness to take up residence deep down in the nervous system. Allow it to hold the body. And within this holding, know that there's nothing more required of you. End of your practice. There's nowhere you need to be right now. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to achieve. No to-do list to make your way through. Just simply by allowing yourself to be here is more than enough. And within this allowing, within this freedom, which is at the heart of your yoga nidra, your yogic sleep, set your attention free to move through the body. And each point of the body that's visited by your awareness, become aware of any changes or any sensation. What has been brought about by your practice? As you begin at the very tip of the right hand thumb, your awareness comes softly to the index finger, middle finger, ring finger and little finger. Center of the palm, notice any sensation, any pulsing. Wrist, elbow, shoulder. Allow your awareness to softly descend down the right side of the body until it arrives at the right hip, thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole of foot, top of foot, and each of the right toes. The whole right side of the body. Allow your awareness to come with ease to the left side of the body. Tip of left hand thumb. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Any sensation, any pulsing in the center of the palm. Wrist, forearm, elbow, shoulder. Descending down the left side of the body until your awareness arrives at the left hip. Thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, each of the left toes. Left side of body, right side of body, left side of body. Your awareness comes to the back of the body. Allow your awareness to move with ease through the soles of the feet, calf muscles, backs of knees, backs of thighs, buttock muscles, moving up through each and every vertebrae of the spine. Shoulder blades, back of neck, back of head, back of body. Allowing your awareness now to descend down the last frontier of front of body, crown of head, Allow it to descend down through the entire area of the scalp, through the ears, forehead, eyes, nose, tongue, chin, throat, collarbones, chest, ribs, belly. Notice any sensation in the belly, any release of unnecessary holding. Pelvis, down through the thighs, revisiting kneecaps, shin bones, tops of feet, tips of toes, front of body. As you become aware of the right leg, the left leg, both legs together, the whole of the right arm, whole of the left arm, both arms together, whole of the head, whole of the back, whole of the front, legs, arms, head, back, front, together. Bring your awareness to your whole body. Your whole body. Whole body. So within this whole body awareness, you welcome the even deeper essence of stillness to be experienced. The stillness in which exists that true, authentic rest. Whole the body still. Whole of the body is rested. As you note where you experience this rest the most, then be there for a moment. Whole of the body is still. Whole of the body is rested. As you allow the body to remain within this position of deep rest, you'll softly extend your awareness to be beyond your body. Within this gentle extension of your awareness, allow it to transition to a more everyday, a more engaged awareness. As this engaged awareness begins to influence your breath into being a little fuller, a little more conscious. The breath begins to stir the body, it stirs the body at the toes, little ripple of movement, fingers, similar ripple of movement, up into the neck, where the chin rolls shoulder to shoulder. As the feet come softly back together. If comfortable, extend both arms up overhead, begin at your feet, point your toes at your feet, tighten your legs, take a big inhale, tighten belly, shoulders, fingers, down, tighten the whole body. Exhale. Right arm remains extended, left hand to belly, folding the left knee, gently roll to your right, eyes closed. Once you feel steady, gently push up. Come into any seated variation, spine lifted, eyes closed. Coming to the end of your practice, before you venture into the rest of your day or evening, let's take a moment to note any difference to the start of your practice. Drawing the palms together, lightly rub your palms, generate a little heat. Placing the hands over the eyes, lightly cup. Gently massage eyes, nose, cheekbone, temple. Take hands small distance away from the eyes. Gently blink the eyes open, gaze into palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day and I look forward to seeing you in our next practice. Thank you.